What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be about something that I don't think gets talked about enough in bass fishing, and that is fishing bite windows. What do I mean by a bite window? I'm talking about certain periods of the day where you have a great chance to do all your damage, or to do a lot of your damage. There's a couple different scenarios where I'm going to kind of talk about this, but right now, being that it's the wintertime and we're in cold weather, bite windows are super important. Those fish, the metabolism moves a lot slower this time of year, and they might only eat once a day compared to the warmer months when they're always kind of on the hunt, on the lookout to eat. So we're going to dive deep into this, and I know for sure if you start paying attention to this and kind of clue into this a little bit more, it'll help you catch more fish, especially on tough days. When fishing's great, bite windows don't matter near as much, but when it's tough, you better take advantage of it when they're going to eat. So before we go any further, please make sure that you've subscribed to the channel. I appreciate you guys tuning into this video. I appreciate you subscribing. And yeah, let's talk about it. So we talked about what a bite window is. When are bite windows critical? Like I said, when it's tough, I'm going to say, all the colder months when the metabolism is moving slow. Another scenario would be like during the shad spawn, late spring, after the bass spawn, you got a bite window to key in on bass that are chasing shad when they're spawning early in the morning, and then you're looking at potentially a really tough window until later in the day when they wake back up. Another time would be like current situations. Anyone that fishes on the Tennessee River or any lake that's current driven. Even here in Arizona, we have a couple lakes on the Salt River chain that are really driven by the current. And knowing when that current's going to run and how to take advantage of it is everything. You want to be in your best places when that current hits, because hey, when that current's not running, the fish suspend, they are very inaggressive, and they don't bite. So you could be in the best place at the wrong time and not catch them. Another scenario, tidal fishing. Same thing. And I've been there plenty of times myself. Fish right over the winning spot at the wrong time. You never know it. Another guy comes in when the tide's right, absolutely busts them up, and that's how it goes. So how do you know like when the bite windows are going to be? That's one mysterious thing sometimes. There's times when you can predict it. We'll start by talking about now wintertime fishing. In my opinion, you've always got an early window and a late window. It doesn't matter what time of year, doesn't matter where in the country, the best fishing of the day is at first light, 90% of the time. There's obviously instances, maybe you're trying to sight fish, bedding fish. Obviously, you need sun for that. There are instances when later in the day the bite gets better. Maybe you're fishing really deep and the fish aren't set up on the bottom early. But 90% of the time, whatever lake you're fishing, the best fishing is the first hour of the day. So even in the wintertime, it's going to be a tough day. Early in the morning, it's important to get out there, even though it's not fun to be on the water at first light when it's cold. There's a window to catch fish, and if you're fishing a tournament, pay real close attention to that. I've seen a lot of times where like middle of the day, I get on a spot and I find some fish. Okay, there's some fish here. I caught a couple little ones, or I saw some fish here. I think I can get some bites. I don't have anything else. I'm just going to start there. Well, you start there and it's lights out. There are a lot of fish biting and they're big. And it's just because, in my opinion, that early morning window is so critical, especially right now. If you take fishing in January, February, after that early window, it can be really tough, especially like, a full moon, like any time of year, full moon. You're going to get a little extra good window early, but it might shut down extra from, say, 8 o'clock in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. So there's always a bite window early. And again, as it warms up throughout the course of the day, it's going to open up more opportunities for you. There's going to be another bite window late in the day. A lot of times it's right before tournament weigh-in when things have finally warmed up. Bass are warm water fish. They're warm water creatures, so they're always looking to get in and around that warmer water. So yeah, bite window early, bite window late this time of year. Now we're going to fast forward to the spring. I'm talking about the bass spawn, right? Your bite window is going to last a lot longer that time of year because the fish are more focused on spawning, not so much on feeding. They're very predictable. You know that they're going to be in shallow protected water, whether they're on the bed, just about to get on the bed, just got off the bed. You know where they're at. They're very predictable. Bite windows aren't as important, in my opinion, during the spawn. It's more of an all-day deal. If you're going fun fishing, there's absolutely nothing wrong with launching your boat at 9 or 10 o'clock, fishing middle of the day. You're going to do as well, if not better, that time of year doing that. But as soon as that's over and the shad get to spawning again, it's a really critical time of year. If you don't have a good spot to start in the late April, early May tournament when the shad spawn's going on, we're talking tournament fishing here. If you don't have a good start spot, you could have a real uphill battle throughout the course of the day because you got post-spawn bass that are lazy. They're transitioning from their springtime areas to their summer areas. But if you can find a shad spawn and get in the right area, that's the one place and the one time of day, that time of year where the bass are going to be going nuts. And lots of tournaments are won in the first hour during that time of year. You know, in the summertime, as you get into ledge fishing season, timing's really important there too. You know, in that case, what you really want are the fish to be on the bottom. So if you have conditions that would make the fish suspend, like we talked about, no current or not enough current, those fish suspend, they're not in position to be caught, and they're hard to catch. As you spend time on your lakes, you realize and you learn, okay, what are the key times? What are the key windows? And a lot of times it's real easy to duplicate throughout the course of the summer. It's a very consistent time of year. If you see something happen on one day, it'll happen on another. I will warn you, in lakes that are driven by current, a lot of times these lakes, these people operating the dams run water when you need electricity. So those peak hours where folks need more electricity, they're running more water. And it's very common to have more current during the week than on the weekends. So it makes it tough if you're a tournament fisherman. You go pre-fish on Friday, hey, the current's moving, the fish are biting, and then Saturday, just dead calm. There's not much current. The Tennessee River's cool. So if you fish on Chickamauga, Pickwick, Gunnersville, any of those lakes, Kentucky Lake, the TVA actually has an app, and they do a pretty good job of predicting what it's going to do. So you can watch it all week, and you can see what that current level's flowing at and what time of day they do it. A lot of times it's more in the afternoon. Again, as it gets hotter, people run their ACs more. There's just more demand for power. So that current really kicks up in the afternoon, and that's when the fish bite. Go to the spot at 10 o'clock in the morning, catch 2-pounders on a drop shot, and then show back up at 3 p.m. and catch 6-pounders on a crankbait. But yeah, that's really common. You know, I see it even on the Colorado River here in Arizona. It was a million times back in the day. I'd go down and fish tournaments at the lower Colorado River, and Friday the current would be moving, the fish would be in position, and then Saturday current's off, the water's low, and it bites totally different. So just keep that in mind as you transition from Friday to Saturday. A lot of times that happens all over the country. But yes, I just wanted to talk about it today because we are in that time of year where, man, if you find something good or that looks good, don't be afraid to go back a couple of times because, again, we're not fishing for 100 bites in the middle of the winter typically. We're fishing for a handful of nice bites. And if you see an area that looks like it's got potential and you think, man, maybe I just wasn't at the right time. I'm fishing through an area at 10 o'clock in the morning, bluebird skies, it just seems like nothing's happening, but it looked good. Maybe you saw some bait, maybe you saw some fish on your graph, maybe the water just looks right. Come back at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or start the next morning there. And I bet in a lot of those instances, you'll be able to catch fish. It's a tough time of year, but you're all watching because you want to get out there and catch some fish yourself this time of year. I know a lot of you already are. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back at you guys soon.